In this video, I'll show you how to animate like SUTOX originals.
Saving for a football match, a world trip, or a new car? N26 makes it simple. Create personalized spaces to set your goals and grow your savings effortlessly. Define a percentage of your income, and we will automatically transfer it.
You can download the project file for this tutorial using the link in the description. Let's get started. Alright, so first thing you want to do is come to this website, Sketchfab. You can get 3D objects from this website. Some are paid, some are free. I'm going to search for a football and make sure you check downloadable. We're just going to search that, and if you come here you can see that this one or this one or this one, anyone you want, just click on it. Now if you scroll down here, you're going to see download 3D model. You just download it. Come here and download USDZ. DaVinci Resolve only accepts USDC files. So you're just going to hit download and it's going to download the file you see here, and it can just save that. I can go ahead and search for a Porsche 911. I use Porsche 911 because I love the Porsche 911. You can search whatever you want. Let's say you want this one. You see this is the model. You can just download this one, come down here and download this one. Make sure download the USDZ file here. Now the last 3D object you need is a suitcase. Here's one, here's another one. If you choose that one, you can just come here. So this is it. Make sure you download USDZ. And if you're done with that, you're going to go back to DaVinci Resolve. Now we are here in DaVinci Resolve. I'm just going to create a new timeline and I'm going to uncheck project settings. I'm going to make it 30 frames per second. Create that. You can see that I've imported all the 3D objects that we need here. All right. So what I'm going to do is go to effects, get a fusion composition. Let's leave the default settings. And I'm just going to open this fusion composition in the fusion page. In the fusion page, I'm going to go to my media pool. I'm going to bring in this clip here. So first thing you want to do is get a background node, connect your background node to your media out, and I'm just going to make this background color the apple white color. You can copy this color code. All right, in order to bring in 3D object, you can just search for a loader node, or you just go to your media pool and you're going to, let's see, the first one that comes in, that's a football. So I'm just going to get this football into my timeline. You're going to see a loader node appears. If I try to view it here, you're going to see that it's very massive. So what we're going to do is I'm going to search for a U camera. It's going to create this U merge here. After the U merge, you're going to search for U renderer. After all of this, you get a background node. I'm going to connect this here and let's make sure that we are viewing this one here. If you view it here, you're going to see that this thing is too massive. To this U loader node, I'm going to add a shift space U transform. I'm going to add that here. Now I'll go to the transform node and I'm going to bring down the Z value like a lot. You bring down the Z value and you can bring down the Z value, or you bring down the size. You see we have gotten that. Yes, maybe to a size of about, good, let's use 0.025 as the size. We might want to increase it later. Now make sure that I turn on, guys, control G here, control G here. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create this rectangle. I'm going to get a background node, get a rectangle mask and connect that one here. Make sure I go to this background node and pick this color here. Now I have that. I'm just going to go to the rectangle and make sure I size that to something good. I think that is okay. Now if you look at it, we're just going to get everything in place. If I just zoom this thing up like 50%, you see that there's a text here, football match. I'm just going to get a text node here, connect it here. I'm going to write here football match. I'm going to change the font to the Apple font FS Pro display, and I'm going to change the color from white to black. Now I can go to layout and I'm going to shift it to this point here. And I'm going to go back here. You can use a size of 0.2 for the text. I'm going to control C this text and control V. Now I'm going to paste this one here, connect it here. I just want to do it so that the notes are organized, because later there are going to be too many notes and we want to minimize the space. So next thing, this text is going to be our counter text, because let me show you, if you look at it, there's a money counting effect up to 120,000 euros. So what do we do? You're going to come to this point where it's written text, right click and you see edit controls. Go to edit controls, make sure you write counter with a capital C. Why? Because I'm going to give you a code to paste it. The code is character sensitive. Come down here to page and use text. Come here and check this one. Now you're going to put the range from maybe 0. DaVinci Resolve accepts up to a medium. So you're just going to put plenty zeros until it's no longer work. Now you're going to come down here to where it says input control. You're going to take slider control and you're going to click OK. Now if you come down here, you see a control has been created. Now the text is above there. I'm just going to make sure I shift it below here. Good. Now after you have done that, you're going to come to this text, right click on the text, and you're going to create expression. Now you're going to carry this expression from up here and connect it to this counter. Now you're going to delete this counter and you're going to paste the code in the description. Let me just connect this one here to the white background so that you can see it better here and make sure we're viewing that. Yes, good. Now come back to this text. You're going to see here prefix. The prefix we need is the euro. So I'm just going to delete that one. In order to get the euro sign, you're just going to hold down Windows and click the full stop. Now you just scroll down and make sure you look for the euro. This is the euro. So if you click away, this is it. It has appeared here. Go to where it says postfix. We don't want a postfix, so you're going to go to where the bracket says postfix. You're going to delete the word postfix. If you have done that, it appears the same way. Now let's just try to arrange this text. I think we have set up everything, so we just need to keyframe everything now. Go to frame 0, come to this text, go down to this one, go to maybe something like 55,000 at frame 0. We're going to keyframe it at 55,000. Then go to where it kind of stops. I think it stops around, let's just say frame 22. Keyframe it again, and you're going to take it to 120,000. Now you can just go to spline. You can use whatever value you want at frame 0. It doesn't really matter. Now if you look at it, the rectangle is the mass of the board. So what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect this one from here. Then we're going to get a background node and connect this U renderer to this background and this mesh node. Why did I do that? So that we can come to this rectangle, control C here, and come here, control shift V. An instance of this rectangle will be created. Now you can just connect it here. If I come here now, let's say I come to this one, I take it above like that, and I add a transform node to this one here. Go to the transform node. If I take it down, you see it disappears. Now we can keyframe it. Go to frame 0, keyframe the center X and Y, and you can go to frame 20, keyframe it again. All we're going to do is go back to the first one, which is frame 0, and take it out of the rectangle like that. Make it disappear. Now you can take this transform to spline, zoom to fit, right click, and go to ease out back cubic, so that you're going to have this kind of mountain here. So this is what is going to give you the bounce. Now if you look at it, the bounce here is going out of the screen. Hold this handle and just bring it down a little bit. Yes, somewhere around here. So if you play it now, good. If you look at it, the ball is rotating like it's rotating around. So what we are going to do is come to frame 15, go to the U transform, come to the Y value, keyframe the Y value at frame 15. So we're just going to come to frame 110 and just take the Y, make sure it turns 360 degrees or any amount you want. We're going to take that into spline, select all just for it to be smooth. Hit S. Let's go to the box itself. We just need to animate this one very well, and we are going to continue with the next one. If you look at it, you're going to see that this one has been, the size reduces. So we're just going to add a transform node here at frame 0. We're going to keyframe the center X and Y and the size. Go to frame 20, keyframe it again. Now go back to the first one. You're just going to take it down like somewhere around here and take the size to 0. Let's make it 0.3. Now you have that. You're just going to go to spline, make sure you zoom to fit, and you're going to do the same thing, ease out back cubic. You can just take the size up a little bit, like you can take the size to something like that, or you take the size down to 0. All of these text, they have an opacity animation. So for this money counter, go to frame 3. Let's just name this text because this thing is going to get really complicated. Counter, come to the counter text, you go to shading, you're going to keyframe the opacity at frame 3 and make fully visible around, let's say frame 13. Keyframe it again, go back to the first one, take it down to 0. So this is what we have got. So from frame 20, I'm going to add another transform node. Come here, maybe frame 20, keyframe the center X and Y, keyframe it again at frame 90, and then just shift it to the side like this. What I might want to do is come here, shift space, search for a grid node. I'm going to add that there. I'm going to turn the lines down all the way to 0. I'm going to change the rules to 6, and I'm going to change the columns to 8. Go to the settings. I'm going to reduce the blend. Why am I doing this? So that I can make sure I center all of this. So come to this transform and let's just shift it to somewhere around here. We might arrange that later. Then go to spline, zoom to fit, make sure you're seeing what you're doing, and ease out cubic. So if we play that now, no, not ease out cubic. Let's do S. I think that this one works. All I want to do is make sure that we keyframe all of these at once so that we can just move the keyframes. So next thing you want to do is, if you look at it, this board is like it shifts behind. Yeah, you see it shifting behind like a bounce and then goes back down. I prefer to get another transform node. Yes, you're going to say there are too many transform nodes. Yeah, so come to frame 90, you're going to keyframe the size and you're going to keyframe the center X and Y. At frame 100, keyframe it again, and at frame 105, at frame 100, we're just going to take it up and make sure the size, and make sure you bring the pivot point to the center of the ball so that it's going to be scaling down from that pivot point. Yes, somewhere around here it's going to work here, and at frame 100 it's around here, so we're just going to take it up and to the side here. So if you play it now, yeah, this size at frame 100, we're going to remove this keyframe from here and take it over to here. So the keyframe at this point will be 0.8, so that we have that size at this point. And all we have to do now is go to spline. We're just going to, let's uncheck the size first and then make sure that we zoom to fit this one, select all, hit S. If you hit S, just come to this one and make something like so that you can arrange this one like this. And if you look at it, the text disappears at frame, so we have an opacity animation for this text to maybe frame 100. We're going to come to this mesh node and we're going to keyframe the blend value here, and at frame 103 we're going to take it down to 0. Now the ball moves out of the screen too. From, let's say, at frame 105, we're going to come back to this transform. We're going to keyframe the center X and we're going to go back to frame 100, keyframe the center X and Y again, go to the next one, which is this one, and take the ball out of it like that. Make sure it's out, and you're going to go to spline, select only this point here, and you're going to use ease in back cubic. If you look at it, you're going to realize that this animation has a lot of motion blur. I'm just going to come here, uncheck high quality, uncheck motion blur, and then check auto proxy, check proxy. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to each of these transform nodes and make sure you turn on motion blur, like a lot. It won't show here because we have checked off motion blur. And with that, I think we are done with our first animation for that box. Next thing we have to do is we're going to come to this from here. We're going to copy all of this, Control C and Control V. We paste that one there and make sure you connect it here. Here we have two of them now. I'm just going to, for the meantime, I'm going to disable this grid. Let's come to this one. I'm going to add another transform node here so that I can move this one. I don't want to use any of these transform nodes because I might dislocate something which I don't want to. So I'm just going to move it here like that. Good. Now I can go to this background. We're just going to change the keyframes and that will be all. I'm just going to go to this background and pick this background color here. Yes, something like that. And I'm going to come to this Z loader node. I'm going to delete this one, come to my media pool, and I'm going to get this one here, the suitcase. Make sure I connect it here. If you see, you look at it, you see that the suitcase is too small. So I'm going to come to this transform, make sure I increase the size to somewhere around 0.05. Now you can take the Y value down. So all we have to do now is to offset these keyframes to fit or to match the movement of this second one. So what we're going to do is make sure we come here. You're going to see that this one is world trip. So I'm going to come here, change the text from football match to world. This one, the opacity animation starts from frame 48. So you're going to come to shading, come to this counter, go to shading. Oh, I made an error here. So this text, the opacity animation we have here is not supposed to be for this one. So what we're just going to do is come to this one, make sure you do the correction, come to frame 3 in this text, keyframe the opacity and go to where maybe frame 13, keyframe it again, go back to the first one, take it down to 0 and then take it to spline. I think that one works. So we're just going to come here, make sure that we remove this opacity animation here, and we're going to do everything for this one. Let's start from the counter here. Select the counter text, go to frame 45, go to keyframes, and you're going to make sure you're viewing that here. We're just going to select both of these and move it to frame 45 so that the counting starts at frame 45. Now all we need to do is go to the text and find the starting value, so it ends at 158,000. 158, 123. Then we can go back to the first one and change it to something like 98. Just change it to any value you want. I think that's okay. So now we're going to keyframe the opacity of this text. We can choose to use this merge node. So I'm going to keyframe it here, the blend value, keyframe the blend value here, and at the same point, at this same position, I'm going to go back to this text, keyframe the center X and Y. Make sure that I go to maybe something like frame 55. I'm going to keyframe it again. Go back to the first one and I'm going to take it down to somewhere around here so that it comes from below. Now we're going to go to frame 55, come back to this merge node, keyframe it again, go back to the first one, take it down to 0 so that it comes like that. Yes. Now we're just going to go to the text, go to spline, make sure that only the displacement is selected, zoom to fit, select all, ease out. Now if you look at it, the wall trip text has its own opacity animation, which is the same as this one. So we're just going to go back to, now you realize that we had a keyframe here, so I'm just going to double click and remove those keyframes from here. So we're just going to come to this and keyframe the blend value. That's the merge node containing everything. And at frame 60, we're going to keyframe it again, go back to frame 43, take it down to 0. Yeah bro, this is a lot of keyframing. Now at the same frame 45, we're going to take the first transform to frame 45. So go and select the first transform and make sure you open this up, and you're going to take the size and the displacement. That's why I told you to use different transforms. Take it to frame 43. Now if I try to play that, you're going to see, boom. At this point, we need this one, this second transform, just bring it to the center like this, and we're just going to go back to this one. We took that one too far, so I'm just going to bring it just a little bit. So at this point, I'm just going to try to arrange it so that I just want to reduce the gap between here, this gap, yeah, this, yeah, I think this is better. Looking at this intersection here, though this one is bigger, we can, yes, I think that this is better. Then we can come to this transform node. I don't think we have to rotate this thing by 360 degrees. It's too much. 360 degrees, oh, it's 400 even. I'm just going to take it down, I'm going to take it back somewhere around there, should work. At frame 101, this one is out, so we are going to come down here. This is the transform, the jump transform, but the second one does not move to the side. It just goes down straight, not to the side. So what we are going to do is we're just going to move, make sure that the center X value here, that is 0.5, will be the same center X value here. So I'm just going to fit in 0.5 here. Good. So that it's at the same point. Yes. Good. It just goes down, it doesn't change in size. So you're just going to uncheck this size animation here. So this is it. Yes, it goes down like that. So come to this last keyframe and take it down to somewhere around here, and make sure you center this pivot point. Yes. So we're going to go to this transform node. I'm just going to unselect everything at 0.5, 0.5. At frame 46, I'm going to keyframe the center X and Y, and maybe go to, let's say, frame 60, keyframe it again. Go back to the first one and take it out of the screen. I hope you can see it, but make sure you take it completely out of the screen. Now if you do that, you're going to go to spline, same thing as we have done before, zoom to fit, and you do ease out back cubic. Just take the playhead to where the peak of the animation is. You're going to see that it's out of that box. Make sure you just bring it down here. Let's play that. I think that is fine. And so we have a problem. We have not smoothened this. Okay, it's this one. So let's take this one to spline. Yes, go to frame 95, come to this match node, keyframe the blend value again because we did keyframe it before, and go to somewhere around frame 101 and just take it down to 0. What I might do here is go to keyframes. I'm going to take this last keyframe and bring it to something like frame 102, so that if we play it now, we have to take this middle one. Let's use spline will be better. Let's come to this middle keyframe and take it so this is what we have. Yes, and then I can go to frame 101, keyframe the blend value, go back to maybe frame 95, keyframe the blend value again, go to the last one, which is 101, take it down to 0. So you're just going to do the same thing for the Porsche car. You can choose whatever car you want. For me, I choose to use the Porsche car because I like Porsche. So remember that this transform node here has no keyframe. That's the transform node that we use in positioning all of these things. I'm going to select all of these, Control C. I'm just going to paste this and go ahead and do all the animation. For this next scene, I'm just going to delete this one, go to my media pool, free Porsche 911. I'm going to bring it here. Yes, you're going to see that appears. Use this transform node here and move it where you want it to be. I think I want it to be somewhere around here. Now that Porsche is too big, so what we're going to do is come to this transform node, or we're going to, we have been sizing it from here. Let's just size it from here. Let's use 35. Yes, I think that's okay. I just need to tweak the values of that one. So first thing, we're going to come here. I think I've shown you all of this. I'm going to change the text and I'm going to change the counter, then we can continue. So go to the counter text and move the final value to frame 85, and the final value should be 720,000 euros. You're going to take the layout to frame 74 so that it appears down here. Now you're going to take the blend value to the same frame 74. Let's go to this one. That one is too far, so we can just go to keyframes, take this one. Make sure you take the transform node with the car coming in from frame 46 to frame 74. And finally, come to this transform where it is bouncing out of the screen. Here we're going to take it so it's at the top here at around frame 93. So just take this one to frame 93. Yes, frame 93, so that it's at the top, and come to this blend here and keyframe it at frame 100. Take it down to 0. Go to the last one, remove that one, and it starts reducing at frame, let's say frame, yeah. And with that, we have it. Yes. Now you might be asking, well, Prince, you look at this ball, we need to fix that one. So how do we fix that ball? Now we're going to come to the renderer, the U renderer, and you're going to see here lighting. You see none, camera, and scene. You're going to change it from camera to scene. It's going to turn black. Now you're just going to search for any light you want. For me, I will search for directional light, and if I add it here and then connect it to the U renderer, you see the color is good now. So now I'm going to make some space here. So I'm going to go to my media pool. I'm going to drag and drop the PayPal logo here, and let me just quickly name that PayPal. I'm going to connect that here. Yeah, you see that it's too massive. I'm just going to add a transform node and reduce the size. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get all these text in place and we animate them at once. So what we're going to do is get a background node. I want to create it on its own. Get a text node, connect the text to the background node. I'm going to write transfer money and mobile pay. I'm going to change the font to the Apple font, which is SF Pro Display. We'll size all of that later. So I'm just going to Control C this one and Control V. I'm just going to paste that here. PayPal, send, manage, pay. Let's just connect that one here first, and yes, we'll deal with that later. So come here and change the color from white to black, and come to this one, do the same thing, change the color from white to black. Now we're just going to have to size all of these. This one is the PayPal. I'm just going to take this up here. I'm going to change it from bold to medium. I'm going to reduce the size to somewhere around here. I think that one is better. I'm going to come to this one, change it from bold to medium. Let's use regular here. I'm going to use, make sure you align the text. I'm just going to make sure that I need to increase the size again. I think that is better. We're going to animate all of these at once. Let me just get all of it in place. So in order to create this button here, I'm just going to come back to somewhere around frame 115, and I'm going to get a background node, get another background node, connect this background node here, and here I'm going to get a rectangle mask, connect the rectangle mask to this background node. This rectangle will be for this one, so I'm going to just size that how I want it to be. Turn on the corner radius. Now I'm going to change the background color to this color here. Now we need to create this square in the middle and this ellipse outline. Get another background node, get a rectangle mask, connect this rectangle mask to this one and this one to this one. I'm going to make sure I'm viewing that here. So I'm going to come to this background and come to the rectangle mask and just, I don't know if you can see it. Let me just make the color of this one black so that you can see it. Then later we are going to, yes, let me do it like this. Let me just make it white. Now you can see it. Later I can change it to the original color. Yes, let's make a corner radius to somewhere around 0.4. Now I have to create this circle outline around it. I'm going to Control C this background and I'm going to paste it here, Control V. I'm going to get an ellipse mask, connect the ellipse mask to this one, connect this one to this one. We make sure we are viewing that. Now go to the ellipse, create expression at width, connect the width to the height, uncheck solid and turn on the border width. I think that's better. And select the ellipse, take the ellipse, make sure it's we're just going to bring down the width to somewhere around there, so you can copy this ellipse settings. We're going to get a text node. I'm going to write the word open in the text. I'm just going to connect that here, and finally I will connect this one here and then bring this merge node here. We can then connect this one here and make sure we are viewing that here. Now I'm going to go back to this one to remember I changed this background so I can see what I was doing. I'm going to change the background to our kind of like, maybe I think this one is better. And this text, I'm going to change the color of this text to the blue color we have there. Change the font to the Apple font SS Pro Display. Okay, we're going to change it from bold to medium and just get the text inside here. We're going to size that later. So I'm just going to come to this merge node and hide the text. You're going to come to the text that says transfer money and mobile. You're going to keyframe the opacity at frame 101 and you're going to go forward, maybe frame 105, keyframe the opacity again. Now go to layout at frame 115, keyframe the layout, the center X and Y. Go back to frame 101, keyframe it again. At frame 101, you're just going to take it all the way up somewhere around here. Come to shading and take the opacity down to 0. You're going to go to spline, you're going to select opacity and make sure you hit S. Now on select opacity, select the layout, zoom to fit, and make sure you go to ease out back cubic. You have the same like a mountain here. Now if you try to play that, you're going to see that. And make sure you come to the text, you have to enable motion blur and you make sure you enable it a lot, maybe around there. All right, if you look at this other text, you see that it starts around frame 105. So come to this text. If you have watched my videos, you know how to create this text, but let's do it again. Let's just create some space up here. Now come to this text, Control C, Control Shift V. Now paste an instance. Go to the instance node, go to shading. You're going to de-instance the first element and uncheck it. Now let's make sure we are viewing that so that you see what I'm doing. Now go to the fifth element, de-instance it again. and then you check it, it's going to appear like that. Now come to appearance and change it to this box here. You're going to see character, you change it to word. Now it appears like that. Make sure you take the extend horizontal till you see the words are separated like that. You're going to go back here, right click, take follower, go to modifier, take the output of this instance node and connect it to the mask section of the text node. We can go back to viewing that. Go to shading, go to the fifth element, enable that. At frame 105, you're going to keyframe the opacity. Go maybe to where PayPal is fully visible. Somewhere around 1010, you're going to keyframe it again. Go to transform, change it from character to word. Now you're going to keyframe this at the same point. That's keyframe the offset to x and y at frame 1010. It's going to open this part here. Double click on the follower. Now go back to frame 105, keyframe it again. At frame 105, we're just going to take it all the way up to somewhere around here. Go to shading and take it the opacity down to 0. Let's go to spline. Make sure you select on select opacity, zoom to fit so that you can have the bounce effect. Use out back cubic. Good. Just select the opacity and hit S. Now we just need to go to this delay and try to get the delay to match that one. A delay of 0.33 works. I think that one is better. Now we have to go to this text. You see that the text is too close. We're going to come to this one and make sure that we go to spline. Okay, we're just going to select all and make sure that it's yes. We can come to this one, select this one. Yeah, somewhere around there is better. Let's animate this PayPal logo coming in. Let's go back to this PayPal logo. Let's just deal with that one once and for all. Just come to frame 104, keyframe the center X and Y. Then go to maybe frame 110, keyframe it again. Now go back to frame 104 and take it out of the screen like that. Not too far. Go to spline, select all, right click and ease out back. Okay, if you play it now, you see that that one has only one bounce. Now if you want to add another bounce, you can just come somewhere around here, hold this handle and take it something like that. It's going to give you another bounce. So good. That's how if you want another bounce, you can do it that way. And that is it. Let's go back. So let me come to this one, make sure motion blur is turned on. Come to this one, make sure motion blur is turned on too. You turn on a lot of motion blur. I'm going to come here and add the transform node here, and in this transform node we can move this one left and right. Okay, let me just center that. Come to this merge node. We're going to keyframe the opacity from here. Come to frame 102, keyframe the blend value and go to the transform node, keyframe the center X and Y. Now you can go to where it's kind of fully visible. Let's say frame 110. We're going to keyframe the blend value again, and we're going to come back to this node now and see where it's okay. At frame 1015, it's back there, so we're going to keyframe it again. Now go back to the first keyframe of the transform, which is 102, and you're just going to take it above like that. Then come to this one and take the blend value down to 0. Now you can go to spline with the transform, and all of these things is out back cubic. We're going to come to somewhere around frame 105. We're going to try to animate that ellipse. We're going to animate the length now. So come to frame 105, keyframe the level and go to frame maybe something like frame 125, keyframe it again and take it to 1. Go to spline, select the ellipse, hit S. Now if you look at it, the animation is not in the same direction as we want. It's in the opposite direction. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a transform node here, and in this transform node I'm going to try to flip this one like that. Now when I flip it, I'm going to bring it back to the center here, and you see that we have the same thing. So now what I need to do, I need to go back and just arrange the position to somewhere around here. Now if you look at it, you realize that the blue ellipse and the blue rectangle disappear. That means the opacity is animated, because from here it disappears, and that's when the open comes in. So what we are going to do is we have to get these two on the same position. So I'm just going to disconnect this one from here, get a background node here, connect this background node here, connect this one here and this one here. Come to this rectangle, we're going to have to keyframe the width. So let's go to where it's kind of like it starts. So from here at frame 119, you're going to keyframe the width and the corner radius. Go to frame 120, keyframe it again. Make sure we have something, yes, something like, you can take the corner radius all the way up to 1. Take the rectangle, choose spline, and make sure you select all of these and hit this one here, hit it so that it goes up straight like that. Now we are going to animate the opacity. So at this point we are going to keyframe the opacity here, go 2 frames forward and take the opacity down to 0. It disappears. Now come to this text and enable the open. Now we're going to go to this text and reduce the size to fit that box, something like that. Now come back to this, we're going to keyframe the opacity at frame 121, go back to frame 119, keyframe it again and take it down to 0. So if you play that, boom. So if you try your animation now, let's see what we got. Good, we have an error here. Now you're going to go to frame 65, go to keyframes, make sure that is visible and open that up to take all of these to frame 70, and at frame 70 the size should be 0. So if you do that now, yes, I think that's okay. Now you have to come here. I want to reduce the size of this car. The car is too big. Let's use 0.35. Yes, I think that's better. The opacity is not animated, so we need to animate the opacity of this one. Just going to select this, go to keyframes, make sure you bring this one down and select both of these, take them to, that is it. So if I try to play that now, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is how to animate like SUTOX original. If you got value out of this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.